And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions and making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got a great lineup for you today here on the program, and we got a feel-good story coming out of feeding. Well, it's about Feeding Tampa Bay. Sailors from around the country help pack food at Feeding Tampa Bay, so there's a feel-good story coming up for you. We have Brian Gordon in the house. You've heard him, Tactical Society. He's going to be coming up next. John Long in seat number 1. Segment 1 coming up as well. United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. So we always talk with John about things happening in that space and the southern border and, some of the issues there. Before we jump into this great show content, I want to let you know about one of our hot listings that we've got here in Tampa Bay. 14626 Loredon Drive. This is $1 million listing of mine right here in Seminole, Florida, Pinellas County. Great opportunity to own waterfront property. You're on the peninsula. You've got views of the intercoastal waterways, your own private boat dock. Take your boat to dinner. Enjoy that Florida lifestyle to the finest. And it's a $1.4 million listing of ours here in Tampa Bay. 2 bedrooms, 3 bath, 1,330 square feet. Got a double master layout there as well. Granite countertop, lots of upgrades. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, I'd like to start off our show sometimes with a motivational minute. Today's motivational minute is let go of the past. We've heard this before. It's very biblical as well. So because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And that's from Lamentations 3:22 out of the Bible. So think about that one. Let go of the past, right? We've heard that before. Sometimes it's harder to do, or it's easier said than done, right? Letting go of the past. Some of these things just constantly in your dreams, you're thinking about them. But think about it also when you're in a boat, right? You're in a boat, you're cruising down and you're having fun. You're going forward. You're enjoying that wind hitting your face. The sun maybe giving you a nice tan for the day. You feel that warmth. And then you look back and you see that wake behind you. You can't change that wake. It's just going to continue to make the waves, make the ripples that it's going to make. And that's the same thing is true to your life. You can't change those ripples, the past. You can't, if your skier fell down, you got to swing around and go pick up your skier, right? But, if there's something that you can't change, why even think about it again, right? Unless it's something that's going to be empowering. You don't want to think about empowering, non-empowering things. It's going to bring you down. It's going to help you, it's going to make you feel worse. But focus on things you can control. And the things that you can control are things like your attitude, your language, the things that you're doing on a daily basis, your skill set that you're developing. So there's a quick motivational minute for you. And I love that out of the Bible. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. That's Lamentations 3:22. All right, let's go right here in studio. We got John Long, U.S. Institute Against Human Trafficking. Welcome back in, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's always great to support local area nonprofit organizations, and your company is a nonprofit. Last week we had a great opportunity over at Children's Cancer Center. I was able to MC one of their events. It was at Top Golf, and so I love the Tampa Bay area. It seems like the support is great for nonprofit organizations. The event that we did last week at Top Golf. Have you ever been to Top Golf? So you see how big it is. So that they had the entire third floor. So all the way down to one end, all the way down to the other end. It was all, Top Golf, people supporting the local nonprofit as Children's Cancer Center. But U.S. Institute Against Human Trafficking, definitely just a great organization. We've got to know John over the last year or so, and you just celebrated your 5-year gala last year. So a lot of good things happening.
Yeah, really appreciate the support. And Tampa as a community has definitely supported us. We started up 5 years ago. We've come a long way. They used to call us 2 men in a truck because it was just two guys in a truck, no office, and slowly built this national organization that's really fighting trafficking. And without the support of Tampa or Hillsborough County, there's no way that this organization wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And because of this support, we're reaching not only the kids and the people within our community, but we're reaching kids and adults throughout our country.
Yeah, that's amazing. You just mentioned too, kind of before the show, so I wanted to jump into that. I think it's really interesting to share with our listeners, our viewers out there, on 80 different outlets worldwide, thousands of people every day listening. Is a recent rescue that just happened. Can you share?
Yeah, one of the things we don't talk about is human trafficking. We oftentimes think it's an international issue. It's not something that happens in our backyard. It's not a domestic problem. But the reality is, here in the United States, every year between 100,000 and 300,000 kids are sold for sex just in the United States. And so while I was waiting for our program to start this afternoon, I got a call from one of our West Coast providers who said Special Ops is in the process of rescuing 2 minor boys who have been sold for sex here in the United States. So it's U.S. kids being sold to U.S. citizens. And so they're currently being rescued. And,
Wow.
and so our plan is to help that, bring them into our safe house, which our safe house is operated here in the state of Florida. It's the only safe house in the United States dedicated to serving minor male victims of sex trafficking. And so again, with that support of individuals here in Tampa, we're operating something that's not happening anywhere else in the nation.
Wow. And isn't that interesting to think about? Because most of the time you just think of little girls or women, the male on female crime, but there's the growing numbers, the opposite. It's male on male in a lot of cases.
Absolutely. And so the majority are, male individuals paying to have sex with female, either adults or female children. But 36% of minor victims in the United States are boys. So if you start peeling that number back, just the United States, about 36,000 boys are being sold for sex just in the United States.
Wow.
And you start looking at that number, what's that mean for Florida? Florida's the 3rd largest state in the nation when it comes to human trafficking. So it's California, Texas, Florida. And you start looking at those numbers, and just here in Florida, about 90 boys were verified as victims of trafficking just in Florida.
Just in the last year? Or
in the last year, so the last 12 months.
The last 12 months,
yeah.
Wow. We're talking with John Long here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. United States Institute Against Human Trafficking, USIAHT.org. Check them out online. Please support them if you can. And a lot of this is attributed to mismanagement in a lot of different places, right? Primarily our political class, our politicians, our elites, and the southern border right now is one of the biggest problems that we see. People are always thinking, in the news, they're trying to lead us into this thing of, oh yeah, we've got to, support Ukraine. Of course, yeah, we want to support people that are getting bombed and tanks ran over and all that stuff going on. But I want to play this quick clip from the, I believe it's the Charlie Kirk show, to kind of put it into perspective of what, people see things on their TV screen and it kind of controls their mindset. But really, if you ask most Americans, we're more concerned about our southern border, our gas prices, our inability of mid to lower income families to buy groceries, to provide a quality of life for our family, the rising crime in a lot of the countries or the cities across the country. I'm going to play this quick clip.
What's interesting is how much the corrupt media and big tech influence all the things we talk about just by putting things on the screen. There's a huge number of people in this country who will do and think whatever their screens tell them. And I think this Ukraine-Russia thing is a prime example. Here in America, we have record high gas prices. I filled up yesterday. It cost me more than $100 to fill up the tank, which is crazy. That would have been a week's worth of work at the wage I earned in my very first job as a janitor. So it now takes roughly a week of wages to fill up your car. You look at inflation, making our money worth less and less, and goods more and more expensive. You look at what's happening with crime and with the border. Those are the things that people actually care about in this country, because those are the things that impact our daily lives. They impact how we're able to take care of our families, provide for our kids. Russia and Ukraine is probably not even in top 10 of people's actual concerns. But when the corrupt media decide they need a distraction for Joe, they do wall-to-wall flood the zone coverage with Russia and Ukraine. And then all the typical interventionists who really, really enjoy getting up on their high horse and moralizing about how they're better people because they're willing to send pretty much anyone other than themselves to a war that they're not willing to fight. That ends up kind of driving the conversation.
Isn't that interesting though? So it's like the constant on all the TV screens. Oh, the war in Ukraine, the war. What Putin's doing is horrible. Yes, we agree.
Sure.
But there's a lot of horrible things happening in our own backyard, our southern border, most notably, and the uniparty, I call it, both sides, left, right. They want to send people to war. They, a lot of them, some of the certain people in that. They want to send our young men and women over to go fight some war across over there, but we got a war going on at our southern border that they don't even want to talk about.
Yeah. The media is great at that. A little smoke and mirrors over here so we don't see what's going on over here. And the problem is people are getting their truth from Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. That's not a media platform. And so some of that false narrative is spread really quickly over those social media platforms. When we look at our south border, just our south border in the last 30 days, or 28 days in February, 170,000 people made contact just last month. And if we start peeling that number back, when we look at unaccompanied children, there was 12,000 unaccompanied children. That's up 37% from the month previous.
Wow.
So we're having more kids. So we're talking about 4 or 5-year-old kids that are showing up at the border without any kind of adult supervision.
Right.
Parents are bringing them to a stop point, and then they're just pushing them along. They just rescued a 4-year-old kid who was walking through a basin by himself.
Wow.
And had a note written in Spanish that said, "Please help me find my mom. She's in South Carolina." And
wow.
So, that's the reality of what's happening in our country.
Yep.
And so we can't be distracted. I think things that are happening in the world are still important to us. They affect us in big picture. But also, we can't forget about what's happening here and making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, protecting ourselves. We're vetting these people. If people are going through the appropriate ways to get into our country, fantastic.
Right.
But people that are coming in illegally and not being vetted, and the system being broken is really hurting us as a country, as a culture. And when we look at trafficking in that, those individuals oftentimes are being forced into labor because they now have to pay a debt of being trafficked. They have to pay a debt of where they're living, or they're being sex trafficked because, again, they have to pay for the expenses that they're accruing.
Yeah, and it's all by the current administration because they want to have these people come over to supposedly vote their way. Right. I mean, that's what's so sickening about it. It's a power play, but you've got lives, you've got human lives, you've got children that are suffering the consequences. They're coming over here to wolves. I mean, it's basically like that Bible verse that says, the devil is like a lion walking the land looking for a sheep to devour, or something along that. So they're bringing over these sheep and then letting their cronies devour them.
I don't care what party it is. Anytime we're using people as pawns, it's not okay.
Exactly.
And the majority of folks need to stand up against that. And as you referenced at the beginning of the Bible verse, this is a time when the church needs to stand up.
Exactly.
And the church needs to start making this fight. I've been in church meetings where people will leave the church because of the carpet, the color of the carpet, the color of the hymnal. They don't like the preacher. They'll get up in arms about things like that. But when it comes to issues like this, the church is silent when it should be the loudest that it's ever been.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking with John Long here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. United States Institute Against Human Trafficking, doing a lot of good in Tampa Bay, doing just some really God's work here, helping these kids. How can people get involved? What are you looking for out there? Donations are great, monetary donations. People can donate time. How can people get involved?
Sure. I would just lead people to our website, USIAHT.org. And through that website, there's a place where people can donate financially. Again, we rely heavily on those donations. But as addition to that is there's ways to be educated on what trafficking looks like. So there's training for parents, there's training for medical professionals, lawyers, law enforcement. So there's different portals on there where we just want to educate the community on what trafficking looks like. Because again, we think it's an international issue. We have that movie Taken in our mind of what trafficking looks like. But the reality is that all of us have probably come in contact with somebody who's been trafficked. And so educating yourself, your sphere of influence, and again, educating your church on what trafficking is.
Yeah, talk to your pastor, your preacher, your bishop, whatever you reference there, whatever type of church you go to, and then you've got resources on your website where you could introduce. I know even Salem Media has a Pastors Day coming up as well. Some events that we sometimes will go and set up a booth at and try to meet some of the local area pastors and folks that are involved with the different congregations. But yeah, there really needs to be more of a rising up of the church. And I think we all kind of got bamboozled or caught with the COVID-19, the Chinese virus in the beginning. We kind of said, okay, well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, we'll do these lockdowns for a couple weeks. But to tell people they can't go and worship on a voluntary basis, closing down our church, needs to be more people standing up next time.
Absolutely. I agree. I don't know why there wasn't more noise made.
Yeah.
Some people tried, and we're silenced.
Yep.
But if we rise up and we just kind of fight together with issues like this,
yep.
We can make a huge difference within our community. Yeah, Hillsborough County is the 13th city in the nation when it comes to human trafficking.
Wow.
So we're way up there, and we need to start doing a lot more.
Yeah, Hillsborough County is a big county as well, and Pinellas stats similar.
Yeah,
Pinellas.
yes, we're a hospitality environment,
right?
And so there's a lot going on. We got a lot to brag about.
Yep.
We host Super Bowls, and we've got great sports leagues here, conventions that come in town, wrestling comes in town, and so we have a large events that come in here, which bring more people with them that are looking for trafficking, being trafficked. So they follow these big events, and that's where trafficking increases.
Yeah, nefarious opportunities will arise from the temporary increase in population, yep. and all the attention that brings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, keep up the good work out there, man. And folks, I would implore you to please visit USIAHT.org. That's United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. John Long, always a pleasure.
Thank you very much for your support.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for coming in. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got Brian Gordon in the house. Tactical Society, a lot of good stuff from Brian, and he's got a special guest that he's brought in the studio as well. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come up later on in the program as well, sailors from around the country help pack food at Feeding Tampa Bay. That's our feel-good story of the day. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or ConsumerQB.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or PlatinumMVPteam.com.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air. I got a restaurant for sale in Dade City. This is a great opportunity for an entrepreneur to buy a restaurant. It's 14121 7th Street in Dade City. And this is a turnkey operation. If you've ever thought about owning your own restaurant, this is a great opportunity for a thriving business. It's been in business since 1990. You've got a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment built in so you could have on-site management. This is a downtown establishment, 2 dining rooms. So downstairs you've got the traditional cafe style. Upstairs is a banquet room. And 14121 7th Street, Dade City. A great opportunity to own a restaurant right here in Tampa Bay. Now, the sale includes the real estate, all of the furniture, all the fixtures, all the equipment, all included. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
And I give a quick shout out to Discovery Golf Cars here in Tampa Bay. Longtime friends of the program. Check them out online, discoverygolfcars.com. Seems like everybody's getting a golf cart these days. Lots of funds, lots of different makes and models. Easy Go, Cushman, Icon. They've got the Star EV. Say hello to Ethan over there at Discovery Golf Cars. He's over at the Clearwater location, and his father, I believe, runs the one in Tampa. Discovery Golf Cars. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're going to bring in Brian Gordon, Tactical Society. Welcome back in, man.
Hey, man. Glad to be back.
And you are a former Marine, served our great country. Thanks for your service.
Yes, sir. They say there's no such thing as a former Marine, bro.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
That's right, man.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. And, so that's awesome, man. So tell us a little about your business.
Yeah, so I'm the owner of a Tactical Society, Gear and Security. We operate here local in Oldsmar, Florida. And we just recently, good news, we got our Type 7 manufacturer's license. So we are now making AR-15s.
Nice.
We partner with a company out of Largo called Core Elite, and they're making some great products over there. So I'm happy about getting that done.
Nice.
That's been a couple of years in the making.
You were introduced to me through Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy, so you're able to work with him in some capacity too. You're doing the concealed carries and things. Yeah,
TK. Shout out to TK. TK was the person that gave me my first opportunity here in Tampa to have my my own trademark gear line in his store.
Nice.
And it started there, and I started doing some concealed weapon training. That's what I pump out the most right now. Everybody's wanting those concealed weapon permits.
Yep.
So yeah, man, it's been a great journey over there at FFA.
Nice. FFAtampa.com, I believe. And then you're able to teach people how to properly, carry a firearm. I think that's one of the biggest concerns people have is they're looking for self-defense options, and sometimes, a can of mace or a spray, thing of mace is not going to do it. You got to have something that's more lethal that's going to be able to defend yourself. What are some of your best tips in that space?
Well, I would just tell people the old Marine Corps saying, if you're ready, you stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that you don't think it can happen to you until it actually happens to you or a family member. And for me, that's what kind of geared me to get into this line of business, to be quite honest with you. I had something unfortunate happen to my brother, and it geared me to put myself in a position to be able to help others so they wouldn't find themselves or their family members in situations where they could not protect themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
For some people that are victims in those cases, it's a little bit too late for some people. They didn't take it seriously enough up front. I'm talking about maybe the single mom who's taking her kids, to and from work late night and getting in and out of the car at a late night situation, or maybe the realtor. I mean, let's face it, a lot of realtors, listen to this show, and it's kind of my sphere. The realtor who's showing the home to the kind of a weird type of guy that you never thought would do something, and unfortunately every year we hear about realtors getting entrapped in those scenarios, and unfortunately, some of them die. Some of them get taken.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Brian, Brandon, because a lot of people here, if you haven't noticed, in Tampa Bay, especially with the real estate market booming, there has been a lot more cases of realtors being in compromising situations. I have fortunately been able to do a lot of classes with some local realtors.
Yep.
I'm open to do, I want to work with some of the bigger brokerages and getting those realtors their concealed weapon permit. I think it's almost irresponsible at this point not to have your concealed weapon permit.
Yeah. And it's it's one of those things where maybe not every day carry, but certain situations you say, hey, wow, this is way out in the woods here, or this is a maybe more of a inner city scenario, whatever it might be. There's certain scenarios where you're kind of your spidey senses go up or whatever, right? You kind of get that feel, and you're like, okay, great, this is a good time to throw that in the pocket just in case.
Yeah.
And I got it just in case. So those are the things you want to think about and consider, and I think everybody should really consider having one at least at your home. What are you going to do if somebody breaks in your home late at night and startles you? Are you going to protect your family, or are you going to what are you going to do there, right? In that scenario. So we're going to take a quick break, then we'll come back, and I want to introduce your special guest that you brought in, George. Lakota Valley is his brand. So we're going to talk about that, plus our feel-good story of the day coming up as well. And we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into your other brand as well. You got Guns and Gars.
Yeah, man. Guns and Gars, baby. Actually, we have an event this Friday at Davidoff, Geneva. Starts at 5.
All right, we'll be right back here. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Yeah, you can talk about the wine and you can just introduce what menu you're doing.
Okay. What's your title with the wine cup? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was mine. I felt that in mine, yeah.
Yep, all good.
Can do it for me? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
It needs to be louder or what?
3, 2, 1.
He's good now? Okay.
Okay.
Johnny, if it sounds low, just give him the thumbs up to speak up.
Okay.
So what do we say? Just like where the wines are coming from, what we do, where we sell?
Whatever you think is most topical. You know, like if somebody on the street meets you,
right,
and you have just a quick 3 to 5 minutes to give them the best, the best talking points. I would focus. George, can you give a test again real quick?
5, 5, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Oh. 3,
It's
2.
not your fault. It's the mic. It's Brian. Can you?
Yep, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Brandon's coming in low?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Huh. Brandon's coming in low again. John's saying.
Alrighty, you're good. We just need to adjust his mic.
Okay. And he was saying, John was saying I'm coming in low, Jose.
It's your point.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. I think now it's good.
Stop. What, James?
3, 2, 1. I can't hear it. 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, count from 5 to 0.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, and now.
5, 4, 3,
He's really
2,
loud. Is that
1, 0.
Is that what I'm getting from your reaction? Yeah. Okay, one more time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Is that a pretty good balance to you, James? Okay.
Okay, if everybody's ready.
Yep.
All right, stand by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Quick shout out to Victor and his team over at Chad Irrigation for all your irrigation needs. Victor with Chad Irrigation does a great job on our real estate properties. He actually helped me with my primary property as well, my primary residence. Victor, Chad Irrigation. You can access lake water and of course, put your irrigation system and sprinkler systems into your real estate properties. Reach out to Victor and the team with Chad Irrigation. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got a hot property listing here in Tampa Bay. Let's talk about some vacant land. I got 12631 Hobson Simmons Road. I've got about a dozen other parcels of land that you can build on, whether it's an infill lot, vacant lot, or even acreage. I've got 30 acres in Hudson. I've got 12631 Hobson Simmons Road, for example. This is one of our properties out in Lithia, Florida, Hillsborough County. We've got about 10 acres, 10 to 12 acres, depending on how you divide it up, right here in Tampa Bay. Lots of opportunities for developers here in Tampa Bay, and we can walk you through that process here in Tampa Bay. 207 East Lutz Lake Fern is another property that we've got here in Lithia. This one's a great opportunity for buyers in Lutz Lake Fern Road area in Tampa Bay. Reach out and you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
All I've got's love for Love City.
All right, we got Brian Gordon in the house, Tactical Society, friend of the program. And Brian, you got some pretty cool stuff you sell. You sell vests over there as well, bulletproof vest and backpacks. And talk a little bit about that side of your brand.
Yeah, man, we got bulletproof backpacks, level 3, level 4. Also with the those that are in security, we provide them. We have vests for those people as well. So even if you have kids, you send them to school. As we know, we have seen cases of school shootings and unfortunate situations. So we have everything from the kids all the way to the adults.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah, man.
Pretty cool just to have that peace of mind, have that extra, what is it called, Kevlar or whatever in the back there?
Yep, Kevlar. The soft plates, and they're very, very light. So, somebody the age of 8 to 12 years old, it's not heavy at all, about 3 to 4 pounds.
Yeah. It was interesting. There was a survey that came out, or a poll that went out. It talked about, because you look at what's happening in Ukraine right now, right? You got this crazy dictator coming in, going crazy with shelling and tanks and everything. And then there was a poll that came out, though. It said what percentage, and it broke it down, Republican, Democrat, Independents, would protect the homeland, right? Mm-hmm. So the Republicans were more like 60 to 70%, 72%. Yeah, I'll stay and fight. I'll protect the homeland, and then of course, Democrats were probably more like 40 to 45% or something, and Independents were right in the middle. But there's been crazier things that happen, right? I mean, what if something were to happen? They come up through the southern border, which is wide open right now. This is all stuff that was going to come into play.
Hey, man, it's one of those situations I would rather be prepared than not.
Yeah, rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right?
That's right, man. And like you said, man, we don't know what's going to happen. It can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
I would just I tell people to make sure you're prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's right. Ammunition is at an all-time high, or I think it's actually come down a little bit, right? Ammunition.
Yeah, but you remember last year, so you remember it was almost like a buck a bullet, depending on what kind of ammunition you were looking for. So, this is the time definitely to get it.
Absolutely. So Brian Gordon here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Tactical Society is his brand. He's also got another brand, Guns and Gars. Tell me about that.
Yeah, man. So Guns and Gars, I'm a cigar lover, so I was trying to figure out a way how I could marry the guns and the cigar world together.
Yeah.
And I put them together, man. So we got Guns and Gars. We have an event this Friday at Davidoff. Shout out to Davidoff. They're a big supporter of the brand, and so if you love guns or cigars, be a good time. Come out. Starts at 5.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, let's introduce our friend, your friend that you brought in, George and Melkadazi. I know I messed it up. Owner of Lapota Valley Wine. Yeah, welcome in. And Brian, you could maybe say a couple words about.
Yeah, so George, I met George a while back. I'm not a wine drinker, but I tasted his wine. I was like, wow, man, this stuff is good.
Yeah.
So I was like, how could we, get together and maybe partner? And we figured out a way to come up with a little partnership where I'm gonna start dibbling and dabbling in the wine world and create my own brand as well. And that brand is gonna be called Shots Fired. It's kind of piggybacking off of my security stuff, so
Nice.
I'll kind of stay tuned for that.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. So what's your inspiration, George? What did you get into the wine business?
So, I wanted to. Republic of Georgia is a small country overseas in Eastern Europe. Nobody knows about it, but we've been making wine for 8,000 years. So
Wow.
we are one of the oldest winemaking region, and nobody knows about it. So
Wow, interesting.
I had I wanted to, bring it over to United States. People introduce people to our culture, let them taste something different that they have not tasted yet.
Yeah.
Right? Georgia has approximately 526 different type of grapes.
Wow.
We are only one country who has that amount of the varietals of the grapes, right? So
Interesting.
At our winery, we make 21 different types, but in the United States, we do only have 4 of them in sales right now. Out of 4, 3 of them are specific indigenous type of grapes for that specific region.
Interesting.
So not, probably you have not tried it before. Let's say it this way.
Right. So it's going to
Right.
be a unique flavor then, because you've got all
Right.
these different types of grapes and
Right.
the combination of grapes. Yeah, that's cool.
And-
So you produce it overseas?
Yes, we produce it overseas and bring it over here. We are distributing out of Miami and Orlando.
Yep.
with the sales in 50 states, online sales. Right now, actually, we have a special going on. You have a 50% discount and 25% discount on a combo deal on wineonlinedelivery.com. Or you can go to otsnation.com and take it from there. You can try it, or we do lots of tastings in Tampa Bay.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. I love entrepreneurship. I love to see, the young businessmen and women, getting into entrepreneurship. I mean, I think that's something more and more people should actually, look at and consider is but really 2 things. Like I talked about it in yesterday's show, is one thing, instead of going to school, getting that 4-year college education that is sometimes overblown, you're paying more and more for it than we ever have in the history of the planet,
Right.
For these schools. And a lot of times they're indoctrination camps for, people that don't love America. We'll just leave it at that. But then to be self-employed. I mean, to go out and take a risk, be self-employed, start your own business. So my hat's off to you 2 gentlemen. Brian, you've got multiple brands now, and seems like you and George might be able to do some pretty cool things here with this Lapota Valley wine. And so hats off to you guys for the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. And also, I want to add that a portion of the proceeds from the money that we generate from the Shots Fired line, we will be donating through my nonprofit Germ, and we'll be doing a lot of good things for people here in the community.
I like that. So the brand is Shots Fired, is the wine brand?
Yeah. Keep your eye out for it. We'll probably be out here in the next couple months here.
All right, cool. otsnation.com is where you can see more info as well. And I want to go back to George. Talk a little bit more about what are some of the things that people should know about wine. Maybe if they're not, the health benefits as well. And I think more and more you hear things about, a glass a day or, here and there.
I mean, it's better than liquor, let's say that way. It helps.
Right.
It's healthier compared to the other product out there, and helps you to digest. A glass of red wine on a dinner. So up there is our wines. So we have a Kinsmarauli, which is a specific to the small region. We have a Saperavi Rosé. Saperavi Rosé, like Saperavi is a red grapes from Georgia, and we were one of the first who tried to turn it into rosé, and it's pretty much tastes delicious. And we also try to bring Cabernet Sauvignon grapes, and we start to produce it, which is pretty good. And Alessandro Valley is also a combination of Cazziatelli and green grapes.
Nice.
So we, as of right now, we have 12 million bottles in production. We do sales overseas as well as the United States, but we would love to expand here.
Did you say 12 million
bottles
in production?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a big number.
Yes,
that's
sir.
a big number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like I gravitate towards the blends. Like I love the
Have
blends.
you tried the semi-sweet red one?
I don't remember. I don't know, but that seems like one that if I chose out of those, that would be the one I would choose.
Right.
Yeah, because it has that little bit of a blend flavor to it.
Yes.
Yeah. Not too dry. I don't like the dry.
Not too dry,
I know
not too
some
dry,
people do.
not too
Some
sweet.
people like the dry.
Yeah, not too dry, not too sweet. It's like right at perfect position where you get to taste all the flavors and traditional way of winemaking.
Right.
We do have wines made in a special place, like under we keep them underground, called Poivre.
Yep.
But because of the little bit higher tannins, we decided not to start it as of right now. But we'll get there.
And hey, Jesus drank wine.
That's right.
So awesome. Well, good stuff. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you guys. And Brian, keep up the good work out there with all your brands. You got the OTSNation.com, Guns and Gars, and of course Tactical Society is the one where you can get concealed training.
Right. The gear.
Get the gear.
Security services, one-stop shop,
That's
baby.
right, security services. That's a big deal because security, people hosting events nowadays, you never know what could potentially happen, and you're liable. If something happens on your site or your thing, your event, and you don't have security, somebody gets beat up real bad, you're liable.
That's right.
So you got to be careful. So, all right, guys, thanks so much.
Thank you for having us, B.
My pleasure. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we got our feel-good story of the day. We got sailors from around the country help pack food at Feeding Tampa Bay. And we also have a first-time guest on the program, John Paul with Designer CutLawn and Tree Services. We're going to talk about some of the misconceptions people have with trees. And certified arborists are able to kind of differentiate by which type of tree do you want to leave up, which type do you cut down. We're going to discuss some of that with John Paul here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty always help you win in your real estate deals if you're buying, selling, or investing. Top 100 ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. We want to help you buying, selling, or investing. And we feature our real estate listings live on air as well. Help our sellers profit more. I want to tell you about a feel-good story here.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is out of Tampa, Florida. Sailors from across the country teamed up at Feeding Tampa Bay this week to pack boxes of meals for local families in need. It's all part of Navy Week out of the USS Florida. They're out of San Diego, Norfolk, Virginia, all over the country, said Lieutenant Randy Ott. And, quote, "It's amazing we brought this event together because we wanted to feed Tampa Bay. We want to give back to the community. They're excited," end quote. And while Feeding Tampa Bay says out of all the charitable organizations to choose from, it's an honor the U.S. Navy took time out of their busy week to help them. So, feel good story of the day. We like to tell you something good in those segments, and that's an interesting one. I love it when we have those local stories. And, of course, the Naval Academy is kind of near and dear to my heart, in a sense, I almost played football for them. Was recruited to play quarterback at the Naval Academy, but ended up going to USF. I want to welcome in John Paul. Welcome in, sir.
How's it going?
Excellent, man. Thanks for coming in.
Definitely.
So, Designer Cut Lawn and Tree Service. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, I'm Designer Cut Lawn and Tree Service. I do all of Tampa Bay, Pinellas, Hillsborough, all over Pinellas County, Tampa Bay. I'm with the Hurricane Protection Program. We do work for Louisiana, hurricanes, tornadoes, anything hits anywhere, we take off and we go help people that are trapped in houses from trees that are on top of the houses. And
wow,
that's a great safety thing I want to bring up today is about trees by houses that maybe have failure leads or cavities in them. Call Tree Service, have somebody check it out. I'm a certified arborist, been in the Tampa Bay area for about 10 years. He's been working with me, and he can come out. He can, we don't charge nothing. Free estimates, all that good stuff when it comes to tree work. And we like to help people as well.
Yeah, that's important. So you mentioned, what was that organization you mentioned that helps, that you go to Louisiana, you go to?
So it's a hurricane, I do work with Fema and Hurricane Protection Program. So basically,
okay.
The Hurricane Protection Program is basically going around anything that's over houses, failure leads, if you have cavities in the tree, meloderma in the tree, that all can potentially lead into a limb falling through your home.
Right.
If one of these limbs, people don't think of it because I see it every day. Normal people don't see it every day. One of these limbs coming off a tree, if it has a cavity at the bottom, high winds, we're in Florida, we get hurricanes.
Yep.
High winds send that branch right through your roof, and
wow,
you can crush your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's something to take a look at, especially this time of year before we get into that peak season, before the winds get up to the 60s and the 70s and higher.
Definitely.
Those are things you want to consider. So for the common homeowner out there that does have some tree cover, it's kind of a catch-22, right?
Yep.
So you're looking at some of these trees and you're like, oh wow, that's great. It's saving me a little bit of money because it's blocking the heat from my roof. I can cool my home a little easier. But you're saying that it might be a good opportunity or good idea for you to come out, take a look at it, and just investigate the trees to see if there's some hollow points and opportunity or potential threats.
Definitely. I mean, not always. We don't always like to shoot into removing the tree. We like to keep the oak trees if we can keep the oak trees. They are protected. You need an arborist to come out and take a look at the oak tree, deem it dead or deem it if he wants it trimmed, or we kind of take a look at it. I kind of know what the arborist is going to say no matter what.
Right.
So he comes out, he takes a look at it, he makes the final say. So we do trimming. So basically, it could be a lead that's going over your roof that has a cavity in it. We might be able to cut it back to the ridge line and collar and, potentially save that tree so you don't have to remove it. Trees that are within 10 feet from a house that are oak trees that are starting to have big root spans aren't good to be next to a house. I mean, if it's within 10 feet, you got to think the canopy that's going over your house. That's all potential leads that can be breaking through your house.
Yeah.
Unless you take care of your tree. I have a lady, every year I go to her house. Every single year, Clearwater Beach, I go out there and trim her tree. There is not one thing wrong with the tree because she's taken care of it for so long.
Yeah.
So if you take care of the stuff, just like your car, if you don't change the oil, I mean, it might blow up on you. But same thing with these trees. You got to take care of them, make sure you take, the failure leads and the improper cuts off the tree so your home is safe.
Yeah. We're talking with John Paul Genoa here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Designer Cut Lawn and Tree Service right here in Tampa Bay. And he's helped us with our real estate properties as well, so I can tell you did a great job. And when you think about this industry, the show is a consumer advocate-based program. So we want our listeners to think of these different areas of business and finance and real estate and all types of great home services and support the show. And we appreciate those that do. Reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Any introductions that you'd like us to make for you, 813-917-1894. Just call the show hotline. It's an off-air number. We'll put you in touch with those experts. But John Paul, what are some of the other top consumer advocate tips or things that consumers sometimes have misunderstanding about?
Basically, people. So what do you mean by that? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no, just get right up on that mic, by the way. But yeah, just like consumer tips. Like a lot of times people will come out and they'll try to get a large deposit from homeowners or things of that nature. Just different tips that you might see. So what
they like about my business?
Yep.
No matter if it's a trim job, a stump being removed, we also offer landscaping. We do it all. Anything with the outside of the house. No matter what it is, we don't ask for no money until the job is finished.
Yep.
So basically when the job is complete, and you are happy, we get our check. As you know, we've done work with you guys as well. So basically, at the end, we collect the check after the work is done, and the homeowner is happy. Tips to look out for homeowners to look out with trees.
Yeah.
Anything that's starting to grow down, you want to lift up, because those are wind catchers. Anything that's growing down, wind starts to blow, it starts to snap, and that's a missile through your window or anything during storm season.
Right.
So if your trees aren't growing up and trimmed right, give me a call. I mean, I give you a free quote. We also take payment plans with no interest. I mean, I work with everybody, just depending on what it is. If there's a tree through the house, I've had a tree through a house last year. The lady had no money. We did it for free for her, but we also do payment plans for people that need help. So, I mean, if there's something small and I can help you out, we got a 100-foot crane. So I pulled it right out of her house for her, helped her out, and, I was on my way. She gave us a great Google review. You can look me up, Designer Cut Lawn and Tree Service on Google. So, yeah, we like to help out everybody in the Tampa Bay area.
That's awesome. Now, we have a streaming version of our show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're streaming on Rumble now, and of course we also go to Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku. So if you are watching our show, you can see we've got some pictures here. John brought in some what we call B-roll footage, and can you just tell us what we're looking at there? That looks like your
so right there, crane? That's my crane. We're doing 2 laurel oaks removals. They had failure leads over the house. Actually, one came out in the back and crushed the shed, and actually that's part of the shed right down at the lower corner.
Yep.
So it crushed the shed in the back and this little shed. So the homeowner had us come out. I had my arborist out there. He deemed the trees to be removed, and we took them out. I brought my crane in, and that's how we hook them up, and we crane them out to the road. And then I have an apprentice loader that actually picks them up from the road, and we take it to the dump.
Nice. Okay. And there's another picture there, so it gives you a good view of that. So that's you got to be careful when you're up there too, right? I mean, there's a lot of safety involved with this.
Yep. So basically, I drop the ball down in the back. I raise my guy into the tree. You have to have 2 points of tie-in, so he has a lifeline coming from the top of the tree, and then a line that goes around as he's working, and he's also connected into the ball just in case. He can always detach from the ball, right from his belt, but basically the climber is, as you can see, in the tree. He hooks up my straps with the clips on them, and we go ahead and cut the branch and send it away. That's my bucket truck in that back corner over there. We also use that bucket truck to get up and trim trees, put plants in trees for people. Whatever we can do with it, we take care of them.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
That branch right there is probably about 4,500 pounds right there.
Yeah, that leads me to dump fees. They're not cheap anymore,
yeah,
right?
No,
dump fees
not
have
at
gone
all.
through the roof, haven't they?
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. We have a new dump place that anybody can use. It's actually great to check out. Gaston Farms. They're located over off Almerton Road and 118th.
Oh wow.
Gaston Farms. You go in there. They're pretty good. They're prices. I used to pay $400 a load to dump my truck.
Wow.
Now I'm paying $100. So look them up, Gaston Farms. I use them a lot. Anybody can use them. You do not have to be commercial. It could be residential. Anybody can use them. So
well,
look
thanks
them
for
up.
sharing that.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's pretty cool. So are they able to use the trees and put them into mulch or
so
something like that?
So what they do is they have a big tub grinder, and they go ahead and they tub it up and make it into mulch. They also have free mulch for you guys if you guys ever want free mulch.
That's cool. That's a great tip.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yep.
It's called Gaston Farms?
Yep, Gaston Farms.
Right there in Pinellas County?
Yep, Pinellas County, right over the bridge.
Awesome, man. So you want people to go into a website or your Facebook page? Or
yeah,
how
I
do you want people...
I have a Facebook page, Designer Cut Lawn and Tree Service. Also, I'm on Google, Designer Cut Lawn and Tree Service. You can look me up. I'm right on there. You can contact me right from there.
Nice. Okay. Awesome, man.
Yep,
well, good stuff. And that says a lot about your character too, man. Helping out the older lady that she I guess didn't have any funds, and you just cut the tree for her and got it done.
Yep. The tree was right on her house, so we wanted to make sure she was safe. And it already sucks what they're going through as it is in that time of year, and with the hurricane blasting through there, they had no power. So we help out as we can. We also go there, to make money as well. But we go. Whoever we can help out, we'll be more than happy to
That's
help
good,
out.
man. That's good stuff. That'll come back to you.
Yep, definitely.
All right, John Paul, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, man. All right, so, hey, another great show. I want to thank our expert contributors, John Long, United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. Check him out online, USIAHT.org. Brian Gordon as well, Tactical Society. And we had George on the program as well from Lapota Valley Wine. And, of course, John Paul just finished up with Designer Cut Lawn and Tree Service here. on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter, and Getter, and our YouTube page, Brandon Rhymes Realty. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.